Hello everyone, welcome back to our Let's Talk Design. And we're again here with you all to talk about stones and marble. We have another special guest today with whom we are going to discuss so much about. I'm going to soon connect her so that we don't waste a lot of time. And in the meanwhile, I hope you guys are all taking care of yourself, taking all the precautions. Please do let me know if I'm audible enough and you all are able to hear me out. Just in case if I'm not audible, please put it in the comments below. Meanwhile, I would just like to connect to our special guest. We'll also be taking all the questions at the end of the session. So are ready and you could place them, in your mind and then in our inbox. Great. Hi,
Hi,
Devika. How are you?
very well. How are you?
Good,
I
good.
hope
Am I
the videos,
audible?
yeah, you are very much audible. Am I audible? Can you see me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Perfect. Yes.
Great. So, firstly, welcome to our Let's Talk Design. And before we start, I'm going to give a quick intro of you to our audience who are listening to us. So, based in New Delhi, Devika Diwan is the founder of Devika Diwan Design Studio and an interior architect by profession. She offers a lot of services like interior consultancy, designing, and styling. Devika offers lot of variety, customs as well, made props with various materials that are incorporated into her space. She provides styling, prop sourcing, and creative directions for photography shoots as well. Today, we are going to connect with her and talk about the beauty of marble in interiors and facade. Do let me know if I've missed out on something.
Not at all. Perfectly fine. I think you've added more.
Great, great.
Yes.
So, we've always talked about the beauty of marble and especially in interiors as well as in exteriors. So, could you give certain ideas on shifting away from a stereotypical use of marble, especially in flooring, in interiors as well as in facades or exteriors?
Firstly, hi Sana. Thank you for the lovely introduction, and thank you to A Class for allowing me to be on the live today. Coming to A Class first, of course, it's
Mhm.
one of my most. I mean, the brand I've how I've learned marble and my marble vendors has been A Class since the time I started, or way before that. Coming to your question now,
Mhm.
of course, marble and especially Indian mentality has this thing that, marble can be used in flooring. You talk about any
Yeah,
stone, the first thing we come across is flooring and, of course, the facades. But I feel the entire game has changed. Though
right.
marble is still used, in flooring, it is still used as the facades, but there are so many other ways to use marble. I feel marble can be used anywhere.
Correct.
We'll discuss this in, I'll just give a little glimpse. A lot there are budget issues. There are the
Mhm.
whole idea of it'll look too much, on your face. But I feel
Yeah, yeah,
at the end of the day, any material used smartly looks good. For
right.
me, marble has really entered the furniture area. If I say that I want to shift from a stereotypical to, another space and interior
Mhm.
specifically, definitely
Mhm.
furniture. I'm sure it's a very
Okay,
common.
okay.
I'm sure everybody in our industry is using that, but at the same time, there is a huge amount of application in furniture, not just tabletops, not just that, but endless amount of. So for
Right.
me, that is a stereotypical, the
Approach.
change approach
Right.
exactly, and I would say
Mhm.
adding the marble, which is a classic material for Indian market, in a
Right.
contemporary way. So yes, that
Right.
would be my answer for that for sure.
Since you've mentioned that you used a lot of marble in furniture, what sort of furniture pieces have you used, in your kind of projects?
So I would start with a statement saying that marble is a piece of art.
Hmm.
How we add art and rugs in a space, same is marble. Of course, my statement would come across as, it's very easy material. Of course, there is a cost involved to that. But again, like I
Right.
mentioned earlier, you use a material smartly. You use the waste out of anything left on site of marble. It can be used in
Hmm.
furniture. You
Right.
use from again, like I mentioned, endless amount of tabletops you have, whether it's a dining,
Right.
it's a coffee table, it's a console, it's an end table. There are so many
Mm-hmm.
times we're left with marble pieces, and we just end up making. There was a time when we were left with like a chunk of small marble bits and pieces. When
Right.
you're left on site, just got to get it framed. I don't know how interesting that would sound, but it can get framed, and we can actually put it on the wall. We can actually make an installation out of it.
Right.
Just get it
Right.
cut in a certain way and just add it
Mm-hmm.
to the wall, as a wall decor basically. Or maybe just give it
Absolutely.
to, or maybe just give it to expertise, somebody who has an expertise into the light industry, and maybe you can get a light made out of it.
Yeah.
So when I
Yeah.
yeah so
That's a great idea.
when I say furniture, I'm not just talking about table, chairs, sofa, and all. I'm also talking about the elements added to the furniture, the styling elements. Because
Right.
coming, having a little forte towards this styling, I always end up adding stuff, whatever is left. Even if fabric is left, you get it cladded, you get a cushion covers made. It is a very basic thing. You maybe cover
Right.
up a lamp, it. So these kind of things, again,
Minute
with
details.
minute
Yeah.
detailing. So I think
Yeah.
marble is also coming in that space now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a very valid point. I really like the idea of converting into a light.
Yeah.
That's very new to me, which is really nice. And I think someone like you who does more of styling could give such sort of tips, which is great.
Yeah.
So, which are the out of box marble types and textures that are redefining the interior industry?
Uh, so I mean, I would ask you to rephrase this question for me a little so that my answer to the audience is easier. Could you
Mhm.
rephrase the question for
So,
me once?
so basically, if you have to pick out certain marbles, okay, which are very different in textures, just to make sure that the aesthetics or the it accentuates basically the interior space.
I mean, I got in the first day. Why I was just rephrasing and rethinking was see, the marbles in layman language, or the whatever technical names marble have in the market. At the end of the day, when we with the client go to a certain, we go for the market survey of marble, we end up seeing the color scheme. So today,
Right.
if I'm, so today, if I'm talking on an Instagram live, and I'm sure a lot of people are listening to us, so just
Mm-hmm.
to give out that word out, that the names is not what matters. We talk about a gray, when we make 3Ds, we give a gray marble, for example.
Okay.
Now,
Right.
gray marble
Right.
is Amalfi gray also. At the same time, you have a gray Emperador also. But to a client, that Amalfi gray and gray Emperador is names to be just ordered, but at the same time it's gray for them. So coming to your point, the textures and all, I
Right.
personally never like to change anything in a marble. I feel the way the
Okay.
slabs are available in the market, whether it's for a
Mm-hmm.
wall cladding, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
for covering up any furniture,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's for facades for that matter. Of course, the sizes have to be customized as per the design, but at the same time, I personally I love what industry is doing with so many of
Mm-hmm.
textures and cutting and inlays and all that, but I'm personally not too fond of it. I
Okay.
always use the
Okay.
way the sheet is, because I feel there's, like I mentioned, there's an art involved in it.
Right.
So
Right.
I feel
Right.
I don't like to change it much. So if I'm taking
Mm-hmm.
a sheet of Michelangelo, for example, whatever texture it has, every, now you talk about the typical Italian marbles, Michelangelo and Satvarios, you end up going to any store, there is a huge 100 sort of
Multiples.
Michelangelo,
Yeah.
Satvarios, and Onyx for that matter. At the same time, we
Yeah.
always see the color. So I feel that the natural beauty of it is something which is
Just
the
as
exact
it
texture
is.
for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But do you also feel that textures or patterns in these marble slabs, they are very much important? So do you choose for any project if you have to? Do you look at the textures or the pattern?
Absolutely.
You do,
Absolutely.
right? Do they play an
Absolutely.
important role?
100%, 110%. There are so many times when the entire story of the space comes out from the type of marble.
Right.
If we are
Yeah.
because it's so much fun to match and coordinate the grains together.
Grains.
You pick up two sheets, and then
Yeah.
the matching and the whole organic feel to that, is something which, and there's so many times, we have a marble. So
Mm-hmm.
this might be a very common thing in the, you must have heard, or marble should always be used in a recreational space. If you're talking about a residence, you're talking
Right,
about a lobby, corridor, living room area which has furniture, but at the same time there's more people coming in.
right, right,
That ways the what you spent on is something which you are also asking people to see, and the
right.
beauty comes out. So if I talk about a space like, a living room for that matter,
Mm-hmm.
so I will complement the furniture accordingly. I will not want the beauty of the marble to completely go off. So the
Correct.
story for me goes the other way around also. Definitely the colors, the textures of the stone uh, make my mood board for the space.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just reconnecting all the dots, but I think quite appropriate as to what you said. Also, we always try to associate marble as a sheen and luxury product, right?
Correct.
So, could you share some ideas on using marble in such a way that it always has to maintain that sort of a level? Like we should not like understate it in any way. So how could you relate as an expert that it always stays that luxury element?
Uh, See, again, there's a huge variety of marble these days.
Mm-hmm.
There was, of course, there still is there's a market where the sheen and the way you polish it, because there's so many type of polishes as well
Polishes,
nowadays.
yeah,
So
yeah,
the market has changed completely in that also. There was a time when a normal, gisai we used to do, and the sheen used to come. In If I talk
right,
in a very layman language at the moment, but there's so many
yeah,
type of polishes. We can we there. I remember, if I talk about going to a store, if I talk about just going to A class for the marble, there is sheen also, there's matte also. So it's the
right,
same stone which is in two types. So of course that is something which is a major change. But
mm-hmm.
if I talk about in terms of the whole, the marble, like I mentioned when I started the conversation, that it should not just come on your face. It should not be a very attractive only material which is seen in the entire space. For that, I would always say, and what I follow
Right,
personally also is, you choose how much you want to use.
right,
It at
right.
the end of the day, it's how much you are using.
You are using.
How
Hmm.
much will suit the space. If
Right,
you feel that out of four walls, two walls should have a marble cladding, after we have made an entire concept, definitely we should go ahead with it.
hmm,
But if we feel that, out of four walls, no wall should have marble, maybe just a furniture piece should have it, because the space in itself is very loud, then we should
right,
not take it. That's what I
right,
feel. Of course,
right.
every space has a different, and I also feel, how we have this thing, that darker colors and lighter colors of bigger and smaller
Tones.
spaces.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we talk about mirror, that put a mirror and the space will start looking bigger. The
right.
same way as marble, sometimes I feel, when we talk about especially facades, and we talk about the wall cladding, not for the
Mm-hmm.
flooring, I would say. Because again, because there are times when I've noticed it, putting it on set, that I've used a bed back wall as a marble, which is quite a common thing these days. People are loving to put bed back walls as
Lot of
marble.
people. Yeah,
Lot of it, and combining it with beautiful materials, which comes out beautifully. But at the same time, the space starts looking smaller sometimes. So
right. Could be.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel definitely marble is a material which you should use in the house for luxury, but don't see the sheen aspect, because that is
Okay.
something. If
Okay.
Yeah, because if you're hiring somebody, of course,
Mm-hmm.
with mutual consent and mutual understanding, you will understand how much to use it. So it comes down to
Right.
how
Yeah.
how you use it. How when we wear
How you
something,
use.
we feel
Yeah.
how one is carrying themselves better. The same way as the space. You
Space.
put little,
Exactly.
so that would be
Yeah.
my answer for this. Yeah.
Yeah. We've always talked about that the marbles used in interior are different. The marbles used in exteriors or in facade are different. Do you also feel the marbles used on a furniture piece is also different? How would you differentiate between the three aspects? Like interiors, facades, and
See,
the
of
furniture
course,
piece.
technically, of course, there is something
A
which we have to
difference.
see. There is a
Yeah,
difference.
yeah,
We have to see. We cannot, I would never say to use an onyx. We never use onyx on the floor, because since day one,
mm-hmm,
we know that it's a material which is translucent,
yeah,
which is but not very budget friendly, uh,
mm-hmm,
you know, and at the same time, it is something which might crack sooner. So these
right,
are three aspects
right,
we know of a certain marble. So we end up using that in a furniture. So we've taken that
right,
out. Now, if you talk about marble like Satvario and Michelangelo, now that is a marble which has, if I talk about Italian marble, and why I'm taking these two names again and again is because the audience is very familiar with these two names. You know,
Right. Yeah.
again, if you talk about beige marbles like Burberry beige, and people are familiar with these names in the Indian
Right.
market. So that's why I'm
Right.
using these terms. Now, these marbles are somewhere again. Now, here I would say, even if somebody wants to use a part of the facade, of course, keeping the weather conditions in mind, which I
Mm-hmm.
always see. But again, here the budget is a problem.
Right.
Now, I'm not see, every client has a certain number they want to spend, but as a
Correct.
designer
Correct.
also, I would never recommend them,
Recommend
because
it. Yeah.
I would always say that, why not we use this if we want to use, if our pocket is allowing us,
Hmm.
let's
Yeah.
use this inside, or maybe let's
Yeah.
just cover up two. So, usually what I remember, you cover up two pillars with it. If you have your house
Right.
entrance, you want to use it in the facade, let's make two pillars, dummy
And then
pillars,
use it
if
in
we,
between.
and use it
Yeah.
in that. So that's
Right.
how, so I think that's how you differentiate. Of course, technicality is a huge part in this. That
Mm-hmm.
is somewhere where both designers,
Applications. Yeah.
the applicators, the people where we buy marble from, and at the same time our design team, we have to together talk and discuss about it. But as a
Right.
designer, because I know my limitations, I
Mm-hmm.
know how the design will reflect. So that's how I differentiate in interior, exterior, and furniture.
Furniture. Yeah. Also, like, because we all are working in the Indian market and considering the weather conditions, especially we have to be very careful what we are, applying in the exteriors or in the facades, considering the
Correct.
weather here, which,
Absolutely.
fluctuates now and then every
And
time.
Indian homes are used very differently. Even if you
Right.
talk about service apartments, even if you talk about penthouses, we talk about bungalows, farmhouses,
Yeah.
all kind of
Yeah.
projects,
Yeah.
even commercial projects for that matter. Because commercially, you won't see marble too much. But if I talk
Yeah.
more residentially and in the Indian market, and where we
Mm-hmm.
cater to, if I talk about just North Indian market, homes are used very differently. There's so
Yeah.
many times in Indian homes we don't end up using marble in the kitchen nowadays.
Yeah. We
you
don't.
know we don't.
We
But if
don't.
you go abroad, you will see marble. we
Right.
use we use and even in Indian homes, we use marble in a powder washroom extensively, but we will not end up using it in one of the main washrooms. We will, but not
Not.
maybe 20% of the market. The rest
Correct.
of the market will not. And I
Correct.
personally am in the market where I cater to all sort of, I also do a residence, I will also do a service apartment, I will also do a 6 bedroom penthouse. So my market,
Hmm.
if is vast. So I'm speaking personally for myself.
Versatile. Yeah.
So this is the difference and change I've seen, and which actually personally now I've learned, because when I started design, I was fond of marble. How every designer is, and you'd learn
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
marble in college. You will know, you were also in the
Absolutely.
design background,
Yeah.
and marble is a topic. So like
Topic.
marble to you, and
Huge topic,
eventually
actually.
it's a
Yeah.
huge topic. But
Yeah.
eventually, I feel the experience is something which teaches you about the
Yeah.
materials, and for marble,
Absolutely.
definitely, yeah.
Absolutely. You were also mentioning about colors in one of your conversations. So, how about neutral hues of marble like whites and grays? Do you think they always bring a unique essence in the space?
See, they definitely do, because black and white used in any color, form, and material
Hmm.
definitely adds, and of course, gray, which is definitely adds a lot of charm. I love gray flooring.
Hmm.
I'm personally fond of, like I mentioned earlier, Amalfi grays, and these kind of shades are something which I love. I
Right.
feel that because I feel they're not really the gray, the graphite gray, but they're also at the same time, you can add beige furniture to that. You can
Right.
add
Right.
a matte gold metal around that, so it
Hmm.
complements any color scheme.
Right.
Uh, because
But
a lot of
how
times
about the neutrals also? Like, do they
neutrals.
add space to the,
Uh,
interiors?
see,
Like we were talking, like they make the space so vast. You think that sort of a traditional approach, it is still applicable right now?
see, definitely it is, but it's lesser.
Okay.
Um, I would say, see, again, this is personal, because I'm just thinking about my projects and my client philosophies. I've never been
Right.
asked really to do a neutral thing,
Tone.
because when
Yeah,
a
hues.
neutral tone, whenever we speak about neutrals, people end up thinking about beige grays. Black and white is not really in anybody's mind, because
Right.
I remember, I mean, this is something which I'm just talking. I was styling actually a space. I wasn't designing, but I was styling a space for a publication, and we remember there was black and white flooring, and it was beautiful, and
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, and it was a long day shoot, after a while I got tired of seeing it. Now again, this is my way of seeing design, and I was like, no, this is not something. And I remember after a while, my own personal residence was getting built up, and I was still hell bent on that. Ki, nahi, we're not going to be using black and white.
Yeah.
We
It
might end up
happens.
doing, we might,
Yeah.
let's do black and white upholstery. Let's do a nice black and white tabletop, but पूरी flooring black and white नहीं करनी,
Can't.
because थोड़े
Right.
time बाद ना you will get bored of it.
Right.
So
That
that's what
happens.
I feel. Gray
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely is a win-win, because there's a huge variety of gray in the market.
So is
And it
gray marble your go-to marble, or it's like your favorite marble that you would like to pick?
I would definitely go for a gray. I mean, I always pitch in for gray, but then वो वापस, like I said, people
Yeah.
people are experimenting, but धीरे धीरे experiment
Yeah.
कर रहे हैं, because तो फिर वो कहते हैं नहीं कुछ beige देख लेते हैं, and then those 2-3 names that are in your mind कि ये वाला देख लेते हैं, वो
But
वाला.
then
But
go
I
back to
feel,
gray.
but then I get grays put in the 3D, because I know at the end of the day, if things will visually look nice, I'm sure
It will.
some clients
Yeah.
will get convinced, But
Nice.
yes, if you ask me that, if I have to style a space or design a space, and if I'm open to do whatever I have to do, then definitely I would go for a nice. I'm not saying a dark gray or like a graphite gray, no, because that will make the space look smaller for me, and I'm not fond of that. But like a
Yeah.
nice, I don't know if that's the right term, but like a nice pastel gray.
Pastel
If you
gray.
mean, if you
Yeah,
if you
I
get what
can
I mean,
totally relate with. Yeah.
you know
Yeah. It's
so where
very,
light
very
also shines,
soft. Yeah.
very soft gray, exactly,
Yeah.
and with nice little texture, so the natural light will also look nice, artificial light will also look nice, colors will come out beautifully of the furniture,
Yeah.
rugs will look very nice. So for me it's always ki flooring अच्छी होगी तो rugs अपने आप अच्छे लगेंगे, and vis-a-vis.
Right.
So yeah, so gray is my go-to, but if you say black and white, I don't know. Maybe I end up getting a space where I love black and white, but maybe I haven't experimented with it. For now, no. Yeah,
No. It's a no-no right now.
it's a no-no. Yeah,
Yeah. But that's good to know. I think gray is totally in and it's trending also
yeah,
these days. And as a
absolutely.
designer, like I totally understand you want to experiment with a lot of other things in the marble. But we had so much of new ideas that you gave us, so much of new tips that you shared, and it was a lovely conversation. If
Thank you.
any of our listener would want to ask you something, guys, you could please drop in your question. Devika, before we log off, we want a last word from you for our campaign, which is Let's Talk Design. What would be one tip for anyone using stone in their design?
Uh, don't stop yourself from using this material, is something which I would say. Because of so many materials in the market, the mindset is getting
Yeah,
diverted.
yeah,
When we talk about tiles, we talk about floorings and other materials, people are diverting
right,
off from marble, because they feel that it's going to be easy on the pocket, it's going to be better, it's going to be durable. But I feel
right.
definitely don't think about you want to put one piece or you want to put an entire sheet,
A lot of
but
pieces, yeah.
definitely go and explore. I, in fact, yesterday only I was speaking to one of my clients, and I was like, you know what, we have to do, even though the COVID scenario is going on, and we're avoiding a little, we're doing all virtual
Yeah,
meetings, but I said we have to go for a marble survey. And I told them this because I felt they
I
want
totally
marble, but
agree.
there were so many. So my one go-to thing for this, for marble, is that go for it. It's a beautiful material, and it's an evergreen material. If we say,
Yeah,
the word evergreen truly fits on marble.
right,
Uh,
right.
yeah. So
I also
definitely a
feel
go-to.
until and unless you go and have that touch and feel look, you will not
Definitely.
know where do you want to use it, how do you want to use it, and
True.
how do you want to apply it, right?
When
So,
we
yeah,
as designers and design teams go to a marble showroom, every time, we get confused.
Absolutely, there's so
Yeah,
much variety out there.
there is so much, and there's so beautiful colors, and
Yeah.
when you understand all this, you just go like, oh my God, कौन सा यूज करना है
Absolutely.
and कैसे यूज
Yeah.
करना है, that mindset
Yeah.
comes. So that's what I would
I
definitely
totally
say.
agree.
Firstly, the campaign is beautiful. There's every Friday, so it's like a chain. We all
Yeah.
come across, and we understand how everybody thinks. So definitely, it's a
Exactly
it's
that.
a it's a it's a beautiful campaign which you've started. And coming to the point of like one liner, I would say don't stop yourself from
Great.
using this material. Yeah,
No, I think it's very well said. And it was great having you here. Guys, if you have any more questions, we'll be sharing the video on our A Class Life social media page. You could either drop a DM there or maybe directly reach out to Devika. She will answer all your queries
definitely.
and all your questions. Thank you once again for joining our session. It was lovely to have you.
Thank you so much, Sana. I hope
Thank you
everything is
so much.
fine. See you soon.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.